Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Live and the day of the eclipse. I've been writing about and contemplating upon the eclipse metaphorically for the last couple of days. So I thought I'd give it one last shot. We got these. There was one left. My wife got it. Little eclipse glasses, and they're really dark. And I noticed that they were made in America, which is nice. The American eclipse. It would be nice. It would be rather ironic if the American eclipse and it was made in China, but American made. Yes, yay! And so let's look at this. This is a. Why does it generate so much excitement? A lot of people will just watch. You can watch it on TV. You can go get a YouTube and watch eclipses. It's factually, I mean, it's really just a dot in the sky that you can't. You got to look through this, and the light dims and rises again, and visually, I mean, just factually, it's as one Facebook friend said, "What's the deal?" No big deal. No, it's just everything is still here. You just look up there, or you look through a thing, and you see a dot in the sky. What's the big deal? Well, it's big deal metaphorically. Now, a metaphor, I have to keep saying this, but a metaphor has two fingers, two pointers. One points to the actual physical fact, and the other finger points to the, in other words, the metaphor references the physical fact. The other finger references a universal truth. So it points to the particular and the universal. You see, so the metaphor is a mediator between the particular, which is, well, it's just this, and a greater understanding. You see, it's the mediator. Christ is a metaphor. He points to, one finger points to the historical Jesus, and the other finger points to you, the universal Christ in you. So the metaphor is a mediator, a link between two dimensions, the particle and the wave, if you want to get into quantum physics. The metaphor is a mediator between the particle, which is just this, and the universal meaning, a higher meaning, a greater understanding, a higher order. So you have the order of just this, the physical world, just these things, and the metaphor points to a higher order of just these things, a totality that includes just these things. So it's very difficult to understand metaphor, but this eclipse is a good example of the metaphorical power of the sun and the moon coming together. This is astonished and freaked out primitive man and animals. And even today, and we'll see today, when it happens, do you feel a little shock and awe? Do we feel a little hush? Do we feel a little amazement? Even though we know what it looks like, are we going to be surprised? Is there going to be a surprise? It'd be a surprise if the sun didn't come out. That's what the primitive thought. Oh my God, the sun's gone and it ain't coming back. You see, that would be a surprise. So let's take a look at the metaphorical significance according to Ed. The world according to Ed. Playing off the world according to Gorp. The world according to Ed is that, metaphorically speaking, we're looking at the sun and the moon as the duality, the dual structure of our visual world. Night and day. Cole Porter, night and day, you are the one. So what's the one? The eclipse. Moon and sun under. What's the next line? The night and day, you are the one. Something above the sun, I think. Anyway, I forgot it. I should have written it down. Anyway, the idea is that what is the one when there is two? When you got the sun and the moon, where is the one? Now, particularly in Indian mythology out west, and also I'm sure we've seen it too. I don't think you can see it in Virginia, but out west, maybe in the desert, there is a moment when the moon is rising and the sun is setting, and they both look the same. You can't tell the difference. The moon is rising, big globe, and the sun is setting. And there is a moment when they both look like the same. There's a balance. The teeter-totter is not doing this, you see. Sun, moon, moon, sun. See, this is the rhythm of the tides. This is the rhythm of our minds. This is the rhythm of our world, you see. So when the teeter-totter comes to balance, the sun is there and the moon is there perfectly still for a moment. Or when they eclipse, you see. There's this moment of not knowing which is which. Now let's bring this to everyday mind. Now I'm not a Zen Buddhist, I'm not a Buddhist, but I practice the Dharma of Buddhism, and particularly like Zen, because it's kind of like plain yogurt. All the other Buddha, Tibetan Buddhists and all that, there's kind of flavor to it. Zen is just plain yogurt, just plain Buddhism. And just plain Buddhism is about the Satori, or the eclipse of the cone. Now, a Zen cone is a pair of opposites. A Zen cone intentionally puts you in a place where you can't choose. Logically, you're screwed. It's a double bind. The Zen master would say, if you say this is a pair of glasses, you're wrong. If you say it isn't a pair of glasses, you're wrong. Now, which is it? Choose or I'll smack you. You lose either way. Double bind, you see. And that is the structure of our ego in a dual world of morality, right and wrong, up and down. Choose, which do you want? I have martini glasses in the hall, big shelf full of them. And I have a friend and I come in, oh, pick a martini glass. Oh, for me? Oh, I can't choose. They all look great. The Hurt Locker comes back from Iraq, the soldier. He's in the cereal shelves of I can't choose. It's paralyzed. They all look the same. When everything looks the same, you can't choose. False equivalency. We're caught in it all the time. This has been the structure of our politics for the last 50 years. Left or right. They're both presented as equal. I can't choose. Well. Each one has its own logic. Each one has its own worldview. And they're presented as being equal. Nazis and anti-Nazis. Oh, they're both equal. I can't choose. Trump fell into that trap. He couldn't say Nazis are bad. He had to say, oh, well, the ones who are against them are just as bad too. You see. So this whole idea of being in a place where you can't choose because they're both the same, equally good or equally bad, doesn't make any difference. The teeter-totter is straight, you see. That is a moment of Zen. You can't choose. That's a moment of Zen. What are you going to do, you see? So this is the moment of the night and day. You are the one. Well, which do you want, night or day? Some people like night, some people like day. Can't choose one or the other because they are. You can't choose. Where's my... No, I didn't hear. You can't choose. Here's the yin-yang. I use that all the time. You can't choose the yang or the yin because they are mutually dependent. If you took away the day, life would be destroyed. It would be all night. If you took away the night, and it would be all day, life would be destroyed. You need the heat and the moisture, the light and the dark, the up and the down, you see, the good and the bad. You need the play of the two. But where is the one? Am I two or am I one? Are you two or one, you see? So this, our ego structure, our conscious mind, reflects the duality of the world. In, out, up, down, there's always division. And so the ego mind creates a sense of me. Me. Or I. Versus the world. Okay? This is the two. I against the world. I, it. Me, it. You, that. This duality, you see. But we reach these moments, situations are created in our life. It's called the sting, or the double bind, where both sides are the same. And we can't choose. And it creates a panic. It creates a nervous breakdown. It creates suicide. It creates violence. We can't sustain it. You can't sustain a situation where you can't have night or day. You got to have one or the other. It's got to be day, and tonight it's got to be night. We get kind of freaky when we go up to the North Pole, where it's day all the time in the summer or night all the time in the winter. A friend of mine went to Iceland, and and they're on the edge of the Arctic Circle, so their day is right now just like most of the day, maybe 3 hours a night. Anyway, but the point is that we reach these moments where the sun and the moon are equal, and we have a moment of being able to not choose. And it creates a panic, because if you can't choose, you can't choose who you are. Ever thought of that? Well, my father had a stroke for the last 8 years of his life. He lost the ability to choose. You go to the restaurant, have the menu. The wife said, what would you like? And he would say, you choose. He couldn't choose. He lost it, but he couldn't, so he lost himself. Alzheimer's, we're afraid of that because you can't choose. In other words, choice creates who you are. What do you want? Do you want some chocolate or vanilla? Oh, well, I'll have some chocolate. So you create yourself. I created myself. I want chocolate. But I don't. You choose. So it drives wives crazy. Ask, what would you like for dinner? Oh, I don't know. You choose. Where would you like to go? Oh, I don't know. You choose. Mm-hmm. Trump presented, everything comes back to Trump. So Trump presented himself as the chooser. And if you create a situation of moral equivalency, and you can't choose, you have to defer to the chooser. You've got to elect somebody or bow to somebody who'll choose for you and tell you what to do. Maybe the minister, maybe God, maybe Jesus, maybe Trump, maybe Obama, I don't know. But if you can't choose, somebody's got to choose, because you can't stay in a choiceless state. Because a choiceless state has no ego. The ego is the chooser. He chooses between this and that. Choice requires two. If there's no two, there's no choice. And then who am I? I can't choose. I can't choose myself. If I like vanilla, I choose myself. I'm the one who likes vanilla. You guys like chocolate. Yeah. Vanilla is superior to chocolate. You see? Or racism. I choose myself as white. In order to be white, because I'm going to choose the better choice, you see, like vanilla and chocolate, I'm going to choose vanilla. And if I say vanilla is the superior choice, which makes me superior, the one, then I've got to devalue chocolate. If they're both the same, there's nothing special. So I got to choose to be special, to be the one. The ego, I got to choose vanilla. And in the choice of vanilla as the better flavor, I dismiss or devalue chocolate. And I tip the teeter-totter. I'm up here and you're down there. Vanilla's up here, chocolate's down there. Well, of course, chocolate is going to say, what the hell? Chocolate's as good as vanilla. So it's going to react and try to bring the teeter-totter back to here. But then if you got chocolate and vanilla, both of equal value, you can't choose. And if you can't choose chocolate or vanilla, you can't choose yourself as being special. And the ego goes, wow, I'm having a panic attack. I can't choose myself. Okay, so I hope I'm going in the correct direction here. So anyway, we got this dilemma where I can't choose. And false equivalency puts us in that dilemma. Both sides do it. It's a double bind in which you lose. If you say this is a marker, you're wrong. If you say it isn't a marker, you're wrong. You lose. No matter what you choose, you're screwed. These are all familiar places. When I go to Walmart and I have a little ambiguity in the commandments or list my wife gives me, I get into a wow, I can't choose. I'm afraid of being wrong. So I can't, that fear creates an ambivalence, a feedback loop, and it grows. Oh God, clerk. Or call my wife. You know, what is this? What cereal did you want? I love these little situations because for me, they're sources of realization. My karmic imprint, you see, is activated, and I look at it, there it is again, what a joke, it's funny, and I use it for my talks. Okay, so in spirituality, ACIM, whatever the discipline is, therapy, I don't care what it is, you use this ambivalence, you use this I can't choose. Not to destroy the other one. The vanilla doesn't destroy the chocolate. You hold them both together at the same time. And you don't avoid the anxiety of not being able to choose. You become curious about it. You sit with it. You don't do anything. You say, I don't know what to do. And so I ask, what is the truth here? I don't know what the truth is. In this state here, now this was Jake Sully in Avatar. I keep going back to Avatar. So Jake Sully in Avatar, most people have seen it, so I love using it, got into a no man's land. Like in World War II, between the two trenches, the no man's land. He was in a no man's land between the Sky People and the Navi. And he didn't know which one was real. You wake up in the morning and you enter that intermediate stage, and for a few moments you don't know if the dream is real or your bedroom is real. Wow. That's the state. You don't know what's real. But you don't panic and run away from it or try to kill the other one. You just stay with it with curiosity. And that's the eclipse. That's the eclipse of the pairs of opposites, the sun and the moon, the this and the that, the vanilla and the chocolate. That's the eclipse. And you stand in awe, and a hush falls over your mind. Thinking stops. You just look. What is the truth here? What's going on here? Thinking stops. Thinking is the ego trying to find a choice, trying to get out of the double bind. Thinking is trying to get out of the double bind created by thinking. Ego is trying to get out of the double bind created by the ego's duality. It goes, you see. But there is a moment when the two become one, and we say, in the eclipse of the duality, oh, how wondrous a thing. What is this? I don't know. And with that acceptance of the eclipse, and in the movie Jake Sully, What happens to him? He makes a mad act. He jumps on the last shadow, which is death. He jumps on death, and he transcends the duality of the sky mind and the Navi mind and becomes a new order, the avatar. So it's through the breakout of the eclipse that a new sun is born. A new reality is born. A new America is born. A new world is born. A new you is born. See the metaphor here? That the way to birth is through the eclipse. The way to resurrection is through the crucifixion. The way to a new whole universe, which you create and live in, it's not created for you. You have to create a new universe that is unified and one, and without conflict, confusion, and self-loathing. You see. So the way to a new you, a new world, not the external world, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about you as the world. You are the world and the world is you. You create the world that you live in, but we forget. And the ego creates a world that's divided, and we think the world's divided and I'm the victim. We think somebody else is dividing me. No, you're dividing you. No, you're the creator of you. So spiritual practice is inviting the eclipse. That's what Zen is about. You go to the master and he gives you a duality, a Zen cone. And you ask for the eclipse, where you can't choose between the sun and the moon, or whether this is a marker or not a marker. You know there's the one, but you can't find it in the two. So this creates a tension. And the energy in the tension, the energy of the opposites, like the energy of a positive and negative force of a battery, generates the energy for a new birth. And suddenly, spontaneously, bam, you see. And the cocoon falls off. The worm of duality goes into the cocoon of the eclipse, and a butterfly is born. And you spread your wings. You look in the mirror and you say, "Ha! I recognize you. Where have you been all my life? My beloved, the one that I am." That's what Buddha said when he awoke. Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one. Now we look at that, oh, what an ego. No, he's talking about this. Through heaven and earth, the sun and the moon, the this and the that, the left and the right, the north and the south, all these dualities, us and the terrorists, all of these dualities is the womb for the birth of you. This is the eclipse for the birth of the new sun. So anyway, thank you for hanging in with me as I wander through my metaphorical world.